Hey guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the fourth episode of my series where I share 15 of my favorite beats from a select producer. And with the new Clips album that he's producing right around the corner, I thought this would be a good time to tackle Pharrell and the Neptunes, who I'm sort of just grouping together into one general discography for the purposes of this video. While cutting down all the instrumentals for these lists is never easy, with Pharrell and Chad, it's uniquely difficult just because of the virtually unparalleled run of high-profile LPs and songs that were either handled by P himself or as half of the Neptunes. Plus, he just has a variety in sound and style that exceeds most of the Titans I've covered so far in this series, because this is the first time where a good chunk of the list isn't even hip-hop. Before the main 15, as usual, I have a quick set of honorable mentions I want to run through in no particular order, and starting us off, while P was the main mastermind behind a good amount of Justin Timberlake's solo work, the only beat he ever gave JT that I would actually classify as a favorite of mine is the track Senorita that started off the Justified debut. Staying in the world of pop singers, next up I had to give a shout out to my man Usher, who back in the day teamed up with Pharrell to create the top tier R&B cut You Don't Have to Call. Getting back into the hip hop side of things, while Jay-Z was another one of those artists Pharrell created a myriad of beats for over the years. After much deliberation and weighing them against the other competition, even though they made some great catchy singles like Frontin', Change Clothes, I Know, or I Just Wanna Love You, the only beat I feel can hang within this selection is one that the Neptunes gave Jay for the Black album, which ended up as the track Allure. Another rap act that P handled production for was Philly's Most Wanted, and while he actually did pretty much all of the beats for their 2001 debut Get Down or Lay Down, my favorite would probably have to be Please Don't Mind. I also have to recommend my favorite song that Pharrell produced for Beyoncé, which most likely would be Green Light. Bridging the gap between hip hop and R&B, we have Old Dirty Bastard's second solo album, which had plenty of involvement from the Neptunes. But despite classic beats like Recognize or Got Your Money, the one I want to go with is definitely Cold Blooded. While it's sort of the dark horse of the Clips discography, there are still some killer tracks on 2009's Till the Casket Drops, with the highlight for me being the serene and upbeat instrumental for I'm Good. Even though I was never particularly a massive fan of Pharrell's group NERD, it's not that the music was anywhere near whack, it was just never really for me. However, there were still plenty of killer beats within their output, namely the one for the track Bobby James off their 2001 debut In Search Of. The Neptunes gave Queen's legend Noriega a number of legendary beats over the years, one of which you'll see a little later on in this list, but I still wanted to shout out the track Nothin off the God's Favorite LP. Pharrell and Chad have a number of classic songs that are super memorable and iconic, but through no fault of their own, they were just overplayed and sampled to the point they don't hit quite the same way today. And personally, I kind of feel that way about songs like Tokyo Drift or Milkshake. But while the same could maybe be said about Snoop's Drop It Like It's Hot, I feel like this instrumental was so unique, outside the box, and personalized, especially for the time, that it still deserves a mention in my book. One of the more recent instrumentals in this video, I actually wanted to give a shout out to Lil Uzi Vert, as the song Neon Guts showed that Pharrell not only could produce for this new generation, but he could rap just like them with seemingly no effort. Wrapping up the honorable mentions, the only track I have that's more recent than that last one is the recent clip single So Be It, which I know might seem a bit early to have in a list like this, which is why it's in the honorable mentions, but frankly, this instrumental is so insane I really couldn't not include it. And starting off the main list, which will be in order from least to most favorite, at number 15, we have another beat from the 2010s, but this one actually comes from Earl Sweatshirt in his seminal 2013 LP, Doris, with the result being the song Burgundy with Vince Staples. For number 14, Pharrell shows us how he can cover grimy New York boom bap just as easily as top 20 pop hits with the track Knock Yourself Out, which he gave to Jadakiss for his Kiss the Game Goodbye album. At number 13, I went with another iconic collaboration between Pharrell and Snoop Dogg. And this one not only has an addictive hook, but the beat is top tier as well. And this culminated in the smash hit Beautiful. For number 12, we have Ludacris and his Back for the First Time debut, where P handled the production for the career-defining song Southern Hospitality. Moving over to Chicago, at number 11, we have another game-changing debut, this one being Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor, where Pharrell gave the lyrical mastermind a colorful signature beat for the track I Gotcha. For number 10, we are going to a completely different genre, as P once again flexed his diversity when he produced one of the best songs off of reggae legend Beanie Man's Art and Life LP called Girls Dem Sugar. At number 9, we have a once-in-a-lifetime collaboration between Kanye West and Jay-Z for Watch the Throne, where Pharrell once again just swoops in and uses his one production slot to create one of the best songs on the entire project, which was Gotta Have It. At number 8, we have probably the earliest instrumental from this dude to appear on the list, as we're going all the way back to 1996 when he made the stellar beat for SWV's Use Your Heart. As for number 7, I went with one of the many game-changing instrumentals that Pharrell and Chad made for Pusha and Malice, aka Clips. But while I definitely had to leave off some killer moments like Keys Open Doors or Nightmares, one of the tracks I definitely had to have on the list was Mr. Me Too off of Hell Hath No Fury. At number 6, we have one of the hardest hitting instrumentals Pharrell ever put together, which he gave to Noriega for his single Superthug off the Nori album I just covered. And kicking off the top 5, I went with arguably the most underrated Neptunes instrumental I can think of, which was on T.I.'s 2001 debut, I'm Serious. And that LP in general didn't really make much of a splash, so there's a good chance you may have missed out on the absolutely flawless loop that Pharrell and Chad gave him for the song What's Your Name. At number 4, we have the highest placing song in this list that wasn't a hip hop track, and ultimately that was for the best because frankly the song Caught Out There, off Khalees's 1999 debut Kaleidoscope, is already a perfect track as is. Coming in at 3rd place, we have one of my all-time favorite MCs, Scarface, who recruited the Neptunes to handle some production on arguably his best solo album, The Fix, which is already loaded with killer beats from front to back, but it doesn't get much better than the soulful guitar loop that they gave him for the song Someday. As our runner-up at number 2, we have the incredibly iconic instrumental Pharrell gave Kendrick Lamar for the song Alright off To Pimp a Butterfly, which maybe wouldn't be quite as high for some older fans, but I just have such a personal nostalgic attachment to it, and it really is a masterpiece of a production. And coming in at that number 1 spot, while it's definitely another kind of generic pick, I really had no choice but to go with Grindin, the song that really put Clips on the map, which landed on their Lord Willin' debut, because not only did this thing have a chokehold on every high school cafeteria lunch table in the nation, but it also helped usher in an entire new age and era for hip-hop production. And with that, we've now reached the end of this video, but feel free to recommend any other producers you'd like to see in this series. And if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what your ranking of the best Neptune/Pharrell beats would be, as well as if there's any I missed here. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.